This is Malcolm Reese with TPNewsroom.com, news, commentary, and opinion. Today I want to talk about something that's changing the country in ways we don't acknowledge enough. Not because it's hidden, but because it has become so normal that people stop questioning it. I want to talk about the American dream, not the nostalgic version with the white picket fence, but the real one. The version that once helped everyday families build stability, create leverage, and pass something down to the next generation. And how that dream is slowly slipping away. Let me start by saying this clearly because it matters. I'm not against rising home values or equity. I want the value of my home to go up. I want stability. I want something I can pass down. What I'm against is the growing idea that the only way forward is to convert homeownership into a lifelong subscription where people pay every single month for something they never truly own. That is not progress. That is not innovation. That is not modernizing the market. That is just debt stretched across a lifetime, pretending to be convenience. People forget how things used to be. And I'm not talking about some ancient version of America. I mean the early 2000s. Back then, buying a home wasn't easy, but it was possible. Interest rates weren't 5%, 6%, or even 7%. They were 2.5%, sometimes even lower. You didn't need a massive salary to buy a modest home, and you weren't competing with corporations that had unlimited cash and algorithms scouting properties. Pretty much finding properties before you even knew they were listed. Regular people had a shot, and for a long time, that shot was enough to anchor a family through good times, hard times, and everything in between. Fast forward to right now. We're living in a country where the average person looks at a $400,000 home, a 7% interest rate, and a down payment that feels like another mortgage, and they shrug. Not because they don't care, but because they've been conditioned to believe that renting is the new normal. People are calling their apartment home, not because it's what they want, but because it's what the system has left on the table. And while families have been pushed out of the buying market, corporations have moved in quietly and efficiently. They're buying the very homes that used to be the starting line for first-time homebuyers, turning them into permanent rental properties, and treating entire neighborhoods like investment portfolios instead of communities. And right in the middle of all this confusion and frustration comes a new proposal, a 50-year mortgage, half a century. The pitch is simple. Stretch the loan for 50 years and magically the monthly payment goes down just enough to make things look affordable. But when you look at the math, when you look at the human costs, when you look at what this does to families over the long term, it becomes one of the most counterproductive ideas sold as help in a long time. Shoot, it might be ever. A 50-year mortgage does not make housing affordable. It simply delays the pain. You pay more interest overall. You build equity slower than you ever have. You end up carrying that debt well into your 70s or 80s. And given that the average first-time home buyer is already approaching 40, a 50-year mortgage means most people would never touch the moment where their home is fully paid off. That is not a path to stability. That is a lifetime lease disguised as home ownership. And here's the part that makes it worse. The idea doesn't fix anything at the root. It doesn't build more homes. It doesn't lower prices. It doesn't stop corporations from buying the houses families need most. All it does is allow people to qualify for slightly bigger loans, which give builders and sellers permission to raise prices even higher. It's not affordability. It's inflation disguised as compassion. It is the illusion of help while quietly reinforcing the very systems that push people out of ownership in the first place. Now, while I'm talking about lifelong payments, let me mention something that hit me just the other day because it speaks to the deeper culture behind all of this. I texted my daughter to come downstairs, not yelling through the house, just texting her. And I told her, I'm going through my phone and I just found $130 in subscriptions I didn't even know I had. And before anyone jumps to judgment, I'm not financially irresponsible. Every couple of months, I go through my subscriptions and clean them out because between my daughter, my son, and random in-app purchases and the silent charges these companies throw at you, they pile up without you even realizing it, without you even knowing. You just see the charge. And you ask, what is this? But as I was sitting there canceling subscription after subscription, it struck me. When did this become normal? When did we decide that everything in life should come with a monthly fee? I have a subscription for my iPhone. I have a subscription for the apps. I have a subscription for my doorbell camera. I have a subscription for my damn thermostat. I have a subscription for the water filter on my refrigerator. I have a subscription for streaming services. I have a subscription for things that used to be one-time purchases. And somehow, even water filters and doorbells now require monthly payments like we're renting the air in the house. That's the trap. One subscription feels harmless, $10 here, $8 there. But when your entire life becomes subscription based, you get conditioned to accept the idea of paying forever. Subscriptions create a slow leak in your finances, a couple of dollars at a time, month after month, until the total becomes the reason you're not saving, not getting ahead, and not building the foundation you need to grow. And culturally, that mindset paves the way for the next step, a subscription approach to shelter. Because if you're already used to paying monthly for everything else, why not the roof over your head? This isn't just economics, it's psychology. Subscriptions train people to accept the idea that permanent payments are normal. And once that belief settles in, you can stretch a mortgage to 50 years and people won't see it for what it is. A lifetime payment plan that benefits banks and corporations far more than it benefits the families trying to build something real. If this country were serious about helping people own homes, the solution wouldn't be stretching debt to 50 years. It would be the opposite. It would be shorter terms, faster equity, real ownership. Imagine a country where the government supported 15-year mortgages with real incentives, where people could pay off their homes faster, pass something down, and build equity without sacrificing their entire lifetime to interest. Imagine a system designed to help families get free, not stay locked in. We can talk economics all day, but the truth is simple. You don't strengthen America by extending debt. You strengthen America by expanding ownership, by making it easy for people to build equity, not harder, by keeping homes within reach for working families instead of turning them into subscription products managed by corporations. Because once we normalize the idea that your home is something you rent forever, we lose the very heart of what made the American dream possible. I'm not against rising home values. That's stability. That's security. What I'm against is the idea that the dream itself should belong to institutions while regular people rent the pieces back month after month. Some lines should never move. This one is one of them.